Hi students, I am Father Johnson of New Catholic Mission School, Jhabua. Today we are going to learn another lesson from the book Vistas of class 12th for the subject English Core. And the name of the lesson is The Enemy by Pearl S. Buck. Now before you go to the lesson, let us try to understand the moral issue that is being discussed in this particular lesson. Dear students, when you are left with two option between patriotism and human values, what will you choose? On the one hand, there is a question of being patriotic. You want to show your loyalty towards your country. On the other hand, you encounter a situation in which you feel that you are forced to help someone in spite of knowing that that person is an enemy. What will you do? Which option will you choose? And that is the whole story is all about. Now, before you go to the story, there are three important characters in this story. One is Dr. Sadao, his wife Hannah, and the American soldier by name Tom. These are the three characters. Now let us try to understand the synopsis of the story. The story takes place in the background of the World War II. Dr. Sadao, a Japanese surgeon, discovers a wounded American soldier who was washed ashore on the beach near his house. So it is in the background of the Second World War when Japan was at war with America. It is in this background this whole story is being developed. The narration of the story is all about how this person by name Sadao, a doctor by profession, a surgeon, how he is forced to help someone who was at war with his own country. An American soldier by name Tom, he was hit, injured, and he was washed ashore, and how he is forced to help that person. The man was bleeding profusely, and Dr. Sadao first instinct is to throw the man back into the sea. But the doctor in him refuses to let the man die, and his professional ethics dictates that his duty is to save life no matter what his relation to the person is. Now, when he meets that person, as the doctor and his wife Hannah, as they discover, there is a man being washed ashore. He is bleeding very badly, struggling to save himself. There is a matter of life and death for him, and he is almost dying. And when these couple, when they discover this man, he is in such a pathetic condition, they want to somehow, instinctively, they being Japanese, they want to throw him into the sea. But he being a doctor, the professional ethics of a doctor is to save life, not to let life die. So, because of his instinct as a doctor, he wanted to save this man. On the one hand, he wanted to throw this man because he wants to be a good, loyal citizen of his country. On the other hand, the doctor in him, because of the professional ethics, he wants to save the man. So that is the whole thing all about. The nature of the wounds reveals that the man is an escaped prisoner of war, which adds to the danger. Now, after having discovered this man, they found this man is not simply injured. He has been shot by the bullet in the war, and surely he is an American, and that's why he is taking a big risk whether he should save him at all. Hannah, his wife, is initially reluctant to help the man because it was dangerous and risky for them to shelter the enemy in the house. Hannah, the wife of Dr. Sadao, again a Japanese, she was a little reluctant. She was not willing to accommodate this man and save his life. But then she stood by the decision of her husband, and she also helped him. But she assists her husband in operating and nursing the enemy soldier back to health despite her fear and dislike. Though she did not like both Dr. Sadao and Hannah, they did not like the American because they wanted to be more loyal to their own country. Japan and America both are at war with each other, and they wanted to be more loyal to the country than this man. But then because of their professional ethics, they wanted to save this man. In spite of her dislike for this man, she assisted her husband to restore this man back to good health. The servants who are unable to comprehend the logic behind their master giving shelter to an enemy desert the house. The servants who were in their house, the doctor's house, they did not like that their master, Dr. Sadao, and his wife Hannah, both helped this man recover from his wounded health. But then they did not like, and that's the reason they leave the house, they desert the house, they leave the house and move out. They wanted to show their dissent towards this couple. Though Japan was actively involved in the war and Dr. Sadao's expertise as a surgeon was very much needed in the battlefield, he had not been sent with the troops as the general was in poor health and he trusted only Dr. Sadao to treat him. Now, Dr. Sadao is a great surgeon and is an expertise, and the general of the army was in poor health, and that's the reason he did not send Dr. Sadao along with the troops, with the army. Rather, he asked him to stay back so that he can do all the medical assistance to the general. Dr. Sadao was very much aware of the general's dependence on him. Dr. Sadao tells him about the enemy soldier, but he does not take any action as he is self-absorbed and forgets his promise that he would send his private assassins to kill the enemy and remove his body. So Dr. Sadao reveals the secret, because if at all anybody discovers that he is accommodating an enemy, he will be called a traitor, a cheat, a person who is disloyal to the country. And that's the reason he reveals the secret to the general, and general tells him that he will help him, he will send his assassins, people who will get this enemy killed. And he said he will send his assassins and remove the body. But then this man was self-absorbed, meaning he was only worried about his own good health, his own well-being. He was not much worried about others, the doctor. Taking advantage of the general's self-absorption, Dr. Sadao decides to save the soldier's life. So now, in spite of revealing to the doctor, to the general, still the general has not taken any action. He is self-absorbed. So he takes advantage of this self-absorption of the general, and he decides to save the life of the soldier, American soldier. After the soldier has regained his health, Dr. Sadao helps him to escape from his house to the safety of a neighboring island, from where he could hail down to a Korean fishing boat and escape. So once he recovered completely, when he regained his health, he helps him to move out of the island, and he can probably get into another nearby island and save himself. And that is the whole gist of the story. Now let us try to understand the characters. The character sketch of Dr. Sadao. He is a dedicated surgeon and doctor, has fellow feeling and kindness for people in distress. This doctor by name Sadao is a person who is kind-hearted, really human, and he is a great expert. He is a great surgeon, and he doesn't want to let people die, even if that person has to be, even if the person is the enemy. Conflict between duty as a doctor and duty as a Japanese. He is going through the conflict. He is fighting within himself. He is facing two different types of contradictions. Whether he should be a good doctor or he should be a good Japanese. Being a good doctor means saving the life, even if the life of the enemy, or being a good Japanese, meaning being loyal to one's own country. So if he wants to be loyal to his own country, he cannot afford to save the life of the American soldier, Tom. And if he wants to be a real doctor, he cannot be really loyal to his own country. So he is going through lot of conflict within himself. Prejudiced against the white man, afraid of being called a traitor. So Dr. Sadao and Hannah both studied medicine in America, and they have already gone through lot of moments of being looked down upon by the white man. So that is why they have got some sort of prejudice against the white man. Both of them never liked the white people, white-skinned people. But then still he took the risk of saving the life because he wanted he did not, and still there was a risk of being called a traitor. If at all anybody discovers that he saved the life of this particular American, he will be called a cheat. And so he took a risk. Shelters the enemy and saves his life. So when they discover this man being washed ashore near the house, they both bring the man and the injured soldier, American soldier, and they gave them asylum in their house. Out of loyalty to his country, informs the general. All the same, he wanted to be loyal to his country. He did not want to be called a traitor. So he informs the general about the secret of having saved the life and accommodated that person in their house. Helps the white man escape. So once the white man recovers and completely regains his health, they help him escape from the house. The second character is Hannah, that is the wife of Dr. Sadao. She is a balanced woman. She stands by her husband in all the situations. Though she never liked, just like her husband, she also had prejudice against white-skinned people, but still she stands by her husband. She is responsible. She is a responsible wife, and she also washes the prisoner and helps, nurses him, and she does all the help that this person needed. Dignified and graceful about servants leaving the house. When the servants express their dissent because they helped this American, because they want to save the life of this American, the servants, the Japanese servants working in the house of Dr. Sadao, they expressed their dissent openly, and she respected their decision of leaving the house. Helped Sadao in operation. So she was also very helpful to her husband Sadao in operating this American. She administers anesthesia to the prisoner. So she does all this. Now third character is American soldier Tom, by name Tom. He is hardly 17 years of age. He is taken prisoner. Probably the bullets had injured him, and that's the reason he was taken prisoner. And escaped but shot at the back. As he was being taken as a prisoner by the Japanese army, he escaped, and he also carried some bullet wounds. Suffered torture and hunger. Because he was taken as a refugee, he also suffered a lot of torture by the opponent troops, and he also suffered hunger, probably not eaten for a few days. He was wounded, bleeding, and he was in great pain. Because of the wound, he was profusely bleeding, and he was going through a lot of pain and he was unconscious. But he was a man of great, strong willpower. It is not that he gave up very easily, but then he was a man of great willpower. He was very, very grateful to Dr. Sadao, because instead of being an enemy, instead of being an American soldier, still Dr. Sadao helped him, and that's the reason he always expressed his gratitude towards this person. Now, fourth character is the general of the Japanese troops. He is very selfish, self-absorbed. He thinks only of his own treatment. He is not worried about the well-being of the the Japanese troops. He only wants this Dr. Sadao, who is an expert in surgery. He only wants him that he should help him to regain his health. But he is not much worried about the army. Had faith in Sadao's skill as a doctor. He has great confidence in this person Sadao, because he is a great expert, and that's why he had great faith in him. Promises to spend private assassins and get rid of the prisoner. So when Dr. Sadao expressed this desire that he will get him killed with the help of the assassins, he promises, general promises doctor that he will get rid of this person. But careless. He is careless, and he forgot to send the assassins. Because he was self-absorbed. Now, what is the reaction of the servants? The servants who are working in Sadao's house, what is the reaction? They don't agree with the opinion of the couple, that Dr. Sadao and Hannah. They don't agree with their opinion of helping the enemy. Yumi refused to wash the white man. So one of the servants by name Yumi, she even refused. Outrightly she denied. She expressed that she is not going to wash this man. Gardener felt Sadao should have let the soldiers die. So another person, the gardener, he thought Sadao should have made sure that this soldier dies. Instead of helping him, he should have been left die. But then the gardener also does not agree with the doctor. Thought sea and gods would take revenge if Sadao saved the soldier. They thought even the nature is going to take revenge on them, even if on this man, even if he is saved by the doctor. So they are so strong in their feelings. Felt Sadao was proud of his skill and used it irresponsibly. They felt this doctor by name Sadao, he was very proud of himself because he is an expert in surgery, and they thought probably this man was very proud of himself. He wanted to exhibit his skills in surgery. Left the house till the time the prisoners stayed there. They said they are going to leave the house till this man walks out. Till this man stays in the house, they are not going to stay. That was a reaction of the servants. Now how Sadao helped the soldier escape? He gave some food and cloth. Once he regained his health, he gave them food and cloth in the boat and told him not to be there, but then move to some island which is uninhabited. Meaning, in island there are few small little islands in which there are no any human beings. So he told him, please move to any island which is uninhabited, not occupied by any human beings. Asked him to wait for a Korean fishing boat. He told, you wait for the Korean fishing boat, and with the help of that you move out. Told him to catch fish but eat it raw. He told, you may eat the fish but then not cook the fish. Why? If you cook, probably the fire, the fire with which you are able you cook the food can reveal that someone is there. So he told him not to eat cooked food. He gave him a flashlight and told him to flash the torch twice if food ran out. He told, in case you run out of food, you flash the torch twice. That's a signal that he is running short of food. And one flash if he was alright. He told, if you are okay, you give just one flash. If you are not okay, or in case you need any help, flash it twice. Gave him Japanese clothes and covered his hair with a black cloth. So these are the help that Dr. Sadao rendered this soldier. Now this is a long lesson, students. I have just given you the gist of it. The whole story is all about how this man by Dr. Sadao, this man by name Dr. Sadao and his wife Hannah, how they help an American soldier, America which was at war with Japan during the Second World War, how they helped this American wounded soldier regain his health and how they saved the life of this person, even though he was the enemy. So that is the whole story all about. Now I have few value-based questions for you. Let us discuss about it. First one, despite bias, Sadao raises above his prejudice to save the person's life. Why is it important for us to become tolerant as a society? Dear students, in spite of knowing that this man by name Tom, an American soldier, he is an enemy, still Dr. Sadao and his wife, they raised above their prejudice, preconceived ideas, and they saved the life. Now what is we as human beings, as students, we also need to raise above our prejudice. Sometimes we carry a lot of irrational prejudices, preconceived ideas about people which do not have much of stand, and we often we carry such type of prejudices in our mind, and we go about in our relationship. Sometimes it affects. We have some sort of preconceived opinions about people of particular society or of particular religion or of particular language, and we look at people from that point of view. As a result, we are not able to relate with people, which is really harmful for us as human beings. So it is very, very important that we need to become tolerant people who are more loving, who are more human in our relationship with others, as far as our relationship with the fellow being is concerned. So we need to grow beyond all these preconceived ideas, prejudices, biased opinion about people. That's what will will help us behave like a good human being. Now, second question I have, Sadao's servants refused to acknowledge or approve the help he rendered Tom. Hannah and Sadao seem to be more willing to risk their safety to reach out to another human being in need. Explain the role that education plays in making us refined and tolerant. Now, education is not just learning to read and write. That is literacy. Education is which helps us become really a good human being. And the role of the education is that we become good human being in our relationship with others as well as ourselves. So, if you go about with the prejudiced ideas, I'm sure like these servants of Dr. Sadao, we also be behaving with people and we look at everyone as our enemy. We need to grow beyond all this. And the role of education is instill in the children this value system of humanness, kind-heartedness, going out of one's way to reach out to people for their help and all these things. And that is the real, the role of education. The education, that's a great role that education plays in making us a good human being. A human being with a tolerant nature and helpful mindset. Third question, despite his fear and concern for his family, Sadao still stands firm and courageous in helping the prisoner. What part does courage have in helping a person stand by his convictions in times of threat? Sometimes, as Dr. Sadao, we also face conflict. We want to do certain things and we have courage and we have conviction, but then still there is a threat of being branded as a traitor. You want to go out of your way, but then still there is a risk of being called a traitor. So how will you face such type of situations, especially when you have this conflict of listening to your heart and your mind? Sometimes we go by what our mind says, but then sometimes we also need to listen to our heart. And this couple, Sadao and his wife Hannah, they listened to their heart, meaning they went out of their way to help out this man, American soldier Tom. Even though he was their enemy, still they listened to their heart and they saved the life of this man. And that is a great lesson that we have for our life. No matter who the person is, which country belongs to, which religion one belongs to, what type of language one speaks, what type of culture one comes from. After all, we all have the same identity, and that is we are all human beings. And we need to respect and hold everyone in high esteem as far as our interpersonal relationship is concerned. And that's why it's very important, children, that we need to stand courageous in times of conflict. Especially when we are not able to decide, listen to your heart, what your heart says. But never ever decide in confusion. Whatever decisions you take in utter convictions, not in confusion. So that's all the lesson enemy is all about. So hope you have understood, and please refer the notes that is being sent along with the video for your further clarification. Thank you.